welcome into the PHNX Cardinal podcast presented by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. I'm Johnny Venerable on this sad, sorry-ass Tuesday of NFL free agency, joined by the GM, Saul Bookman. I was so excited this time yesterday, Saul. Woo! We had some deals coming in. 24 hours later, hot damn. The Cardinals haven't done anything, and it's super frustrating. But how are you?
I'm fine. Like, there's nothing to worry about. Like, guys, it's going to be all right. It's going to be okay.
It won't be fine.
Like, the sky is not falling. I'm actually looking out at this beautiful, gorgeous day that we're having, and it's quite lovely. Like, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay.
Rick James, 2345. I'm not ready to talk about comp picks. Maybe later in the show we'll talk about comp picks. Stephen Weiss says time signings. Yeah, okay. Those are great when your team is already in a good place. And I would argue that they have some holes to fill and they're not being aggressive enough. And this is what I think really frustrates me, Saul, is like Steve Keim, usually he's a major player on the first couple days of free agency. I tweeted out today, it's been 6 years since Chandler Jones to the day was traded to the Cardinals, right? That was a bombshell. J.J. Watt was a bombshell, usually pretty active. DeAndre Hopkins, like, where's that kind of move? I need something out of the weeds, snake in the grass. Steve Keim coming in hot with a trade or an acquisition. And so far, I mean, we've gotten some nice re-signings of their own. We'll hear from James Conner later in the show. They got Zach Ertz back. But, I mean, like, are you concerned at all that they're slow playing this, especially after how the season ended?
I am not concerned whatsoever. Listen,
okay,
you got to approach this just like every other business transaction. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you saying bless you. You got to approach this as just like business, okay? You got to let the market kind of dictate itself and set the pricing. Right now, things are kind of all out of whack. Like that's how the first day of free agency, that's what the first day of free agency does. It throws everything out of whack. Look at Devontae Adams. When he saw Christian Kirk basically getting, if everything goes perfectly for Christian Kirk, what equates to $21 million a year, like Devontae Adams was like, yeah, fuck your 23. Like, nah, that ain't happening. Because I'm like a MVP caliber type player. This dude didn't even approach 1,000 yards yet. Like, pay me. That's just so that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to let, when crazy shit like that happens, teams that are smart got to sit back, let everything calm down, watch the options start to dwindle, Chandler Jones, and then guess what? That price comes back down, baby.
Oh, man. Chandler Jones, as of now, does not have a new team. Maybe he overvalued his market. Jacob, do we have the graphic of the Cardinals free agent signings thus far externally? I think we have a live look of what the Cardinals have been doing. Oh, my God, no.
It's a tumbleweed flying across the desert. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? You listeners can't see that, but that's exactly what it is. Nothing has happened. Nothing has happened. Johnny, that's okay. That's okay.
Listen to what I'm about to say. They are one of 9 teams that have not yet agreed to a deal with an outside free agent. They join the Commanders, hot trash, the Cowboys, who have fumbled a bunch of free agents, including Randy Gregory, which is low-key hilarious. The Falcons, who are trying to get Deshaun. The Packers, who never shop. The Patriots, who are trading away, all-pro guards. The Rams, who have no cap space. They're trying to secure their own. The Saints, who are trying to get Deshaun. And then the Seahawks, which they dealt away their franchise quarterback. They might as well give up. The Cardinals, in my opinion, are the outlier in that group. The Cardinals ended the season 1-5. They are a dumpster fire at home, right? They are on paper, I would argue, worse than last year. The offense seems fine. The defense leaves a lot to be desired. I do think, to your point, there's a lot of value to be had. But man, oh man, this thing's going to dry up quickly. And the Cardinals are going to be in a position where if you don't, let's talk about Chandler Jones for a second, because you missed out on Hassan Reddick. This defense is not going to be better with a one-year flyer of Justin Houston or Melvin Ingram or Jadeveon Clowney. I believe if you don't bring back Chandler Jones, you're leaving yourself incredibly susceptible with 2 inside backers that are very green, especially Zaven Collins, and a front three that's, I mean, it's not impressing a lot of people outside of JJ Watt. So I think more of my concerns are on the defensive side.
If you don't re-sign Chandler Jones, guess what? You still have a turnstile over there on the fucking end. It doesn't matter. That dude was not very good last year. Like, I know the defensive pressures, cool.
Yeah.
But did you ever come through with a sack? I think he had one impact play in the last 10 games of the season on a strip fumble. We normally see about 5 to 6 of those a year. Yeah. Outside of the game number 1, Chandler Jones was average. So the act of desperation to bring him back and somehow equate it to, if we don't bring him back, we have lost everything. We didn't have anything to begin with, so we didn't fucking lose anything. Like, it's okay.
It can always get worse. Right now, Dennis Gardeck and Devon Kennard are starting.
I'd rather have Dennis Gardeck.
Get the hell out of here with that. Yeah, I don't know what that move was.
That was the dance that he does, right? The dance, right? Yeah.
And with all due respect to the people who are telling me on Twitter, we'll just draft a linebacker at 23. I'm not giving Vance Joseph another first-round linebacker, even if he plays on the edge. You do not, Vance, I love you. You don't deserve it. Figure your shit out with Zaven and Isaiah Simmons before I ever give you another first-round linebacker. That spot, that glaring omission right now at edge rusher has to be filled. In free agency because, by the way, do you see Jordan Hicks got a nice little 2-year deal, $10 million to go to Minnesota? See that?
You know what I love? I love how when players are with you, and people talk about Jordan Hicks. Oh, he's a smart linebacker. He can play against the run. He's decent in pass coverage. And then once they get traded or they move on, they're a free agent and sign somewhere else. Well, he was super weak against the pass, an average run stopper. Like, it's just the narrative swings left to right. Listen, like, I personally see players for what they are. Like, and when I look at Chandler Jones and I look at like a guy like Christian Kirk, like, I'm not big on potential once you have played several years in the league. And with Chandler Jones, he's on the downward spiral, or he's on the downward side
that can't be disputed.
That's not disputable. Like, so I'm not paying 10, 15 mil a year for a guy that's going to be average for me next season.
I agree with you.
And on top of that, like, I was listening to 98.7 before I came in here, and I heard Gambo talk about, the value that Chandler Jones might be able to bring versus not bring. And one of the things that keeps popping up in my mind is, what is Chandler Jones? He was actually talking about burning bridges, and Pat P basically lit the bridge on fire multiple times on his way to try and get out of Arizona.
Unemployed,
right?
Pat P, by the way.
Chandler Jones, not so much. But I will say this, his comments the other day where he says he wants to play for a style that fits him better, leads a lot to be desired. If you're the Cardinals, like, okay, listen, we is this a Chandler Jones just didn't fit into our scheme and it wasn't comfortable problem, or is this just a Chandler Jones problem? Like, Chandler Jones wasn't comfortable.
I don't understand that comment. He had 20 plus sacks like 2.5 years ago in the scheme with Vance. Like, again, does Vance screw around and drop him into coverage and it's gross? Yes, Vance has issues, but Vance has always been able to put forth a quality pass rush. He turned around Hassan Reddick's career. Like, I trust Vance with veteran edge rushers. Now, I don't think he can turn Devon Kennard into a double-digit sack artist, but like, Chandler Jones comes back next year, and I think this is my point, as Sean puts in a $1.99 super chat. I appreciate that. I agree, Saul, but this move is more for the dance moves. There you go. Dancing for money. Let's do it.
Dick, baby. Let's go.
No, thank you. I do think Chandler Jones, like, he's a known commodity with this defense, whereas he comes back next year, I think you're getting 10 plus sacks, and that's a comforting place. I need my comfort blanket. In
Chandler Jones is getting 10 sacks if he comes back next year.
Oh yeah, for sure. He definitely would. I definitely think he would. Get the hell out of here. You don't think
outside of game number 1, how many did he have total?
7.5, I think, or 7.
But you think he's going to have 10?
But he had 5 that first game. They won that game. Yeah, they win the playoffs by a game.
There's not a chance.
I am a little bit concerned. You can never have too many pass rushers. I think with the Christian Kirk thing, I think we all saw Christian's shortcomings continually and are more than open to new blood in this receiving core. Rondell Moore, second year, Antoine Wesley, a draft pick, maybe a free agent, 1-year guy. I think most of the fan base universally was like, go get your money, Christian, but it's not going to be a scenario in which, like, oh my God, can you believe they lost Christian Kirk? Chandler Jones, because of the fact that the defense has such minimal experience outside of really Marcus Golden, they don't have anybody else that can rush the passer. Watt is not that guy anymore.
We still have like 5 months before the season starts.
I don't like the options in free agency.
Listen, you still have opportunities for trades. Like at the NFL draft, there's plenty of opportunities to make trades during the draft. Like it's happened before. It's not. We are literally not even 48 hours into this tampering period that we have right now. Nothing's official until tomorrow. So who's to say that the Cardinals won't make some deals tomorrow because they know they won't have to compete with anybody else because as soon as that guy's signed, that's it. They're off the table. Look at Randy Gregory flipping from the Cowboys to the Broncos. Nothing's ever official until Wednesday. Damn it.
Sean saying with our schedule, Chan will be lucky to get 6 all season. The Cardinals schedule is daunting. And they play a ton of franchise quarterbacks. That's why you need a pass rush.
But we need to pay him $2.5 million for each sack, guys. Get the fuck out of here.
All right. What else is going on? Not a lot. DeAndre Hopkins, it was reported this morning by Field Yates, restructured to free up about $7 million in cap space. That led us to believe maybe something was going to happen today, but by and large,
I like how Johnny gets his hopes up so fast when things like that happen. He's like, "Oh my God, something's happening!" And then nothing happens. He gets so disappointed.
Full transparency, they just have to be under the cap by June 1st. You see those post June 1st cuts and prior or whatever. That they have to be under 208 or whatever it is.
Thank you, Teddy.
There are a bunch of teams like the Niners just handed out a big time money corner contract last night. They're in negative funds. The Cardinals, it really doesn't matter with the restructures right now. They have to be under the cap by after June 1st, and they will be. And then in the meantime, guys, the teams have been. Go ahead.
Hold on, Teddy Jennings in the chat. I just referenced it earlier. Said, "Relax, people," in all caps. Relax, people. That's what he's trying to say, and he's absolutely accurate and right. So everybody, let's just take a step back. You know,
Teddy,
if you got a little CBD or some THC, just chill a little bit with it, and vibe out. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right.
I've been waiting to do emergency pod for 2 days, damn it. And I'm about to talk about compensatory picks, but in the meantime, the teams have been selected for the biggest tournament of the year. There's only a few days left to join in on the all-in action before the first team tips off this Thursday. And actually, there are games happening, the playing games today for the NCAA tournament. I don't know. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving new customers a shot to bet just $5 on any team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. Yep, it's that simple. If they win, you win. DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet on college hoops with same game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for an even bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. DraftKings is safe, secure, reliable. And best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. It's a call to action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use our promo code PHNX. Bet $5 on any college hoops team to win. Get $200 in free bets. 21 and over. Arizona only. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEPS. New customer only. Minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for more details.
I got a question for you. This is completely sidebar off the topic. Wasn't in the rundown. But if there was one player from inside the NFC West that you wanted to hate but couldn't because you just loved him so much, who would that player be?
Russell Wilson before he got traded.
Right? Did you see what he did in Colorado?
Do a hospital visit? I think I saw that.
Children's hospital visit today. Already, he hasn't even been with that organization a week, and he's already making a difference in the community. Damn it, Russell Wilson. I want to hate him, but I love him so much.
Great now. Yes. Go win the AFC, Russell Wilson, for our peeps at DNVR. That organization in Seattle is in complete and utter shambles. They trade away their only legitimate franchise quarterback of the last 20 years, excluding Matt Hasselbeck, and then they're getting denied a seat at the table with Deshaun Watson, so they're going to have to roll with Drew Lock. We absolutely love to bury the Seahawks here. That's great to see. What also is great to see, one of the few additions the Cardinals have made internally, that is James Conner. And he spoke to the media today a little bit about why he decided to come back to the Arizona Cardinals.
It's nice, just to have a team believe in you and invest in you and all that. So, I took the prove it deal as they call last year, but I instantly fell in love with the place. I fell in love with Arizona. I fell in love with this organization, everybody in the building, and so to just have a 3-year contract and go forward from here, it's just nice. Like I said, to call this place home.
I wonder if he bought his dad another new truck. Remember that?
Yeah, when he was in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
He was in Pittsburgh, bought Pops a brand new truck, and he just lost his mind. Thought it was the greatest thing ever. Listen, James Conner, for the things that he's had to battle in his life, overcoming cancer, and in the kind of work ethic and how hard he plays, I'm happy that he's back. He's a great culture fit for your organization. No matter what organization you're with, he's a great guy to have in the locker room. I think he brings a toughness that really hypes this team up. And I think that's something that cannot be measured in a stat book, in analytics or anything like that. Like, that guy has fucking heart. You know what I mean? Like, he's willing to put it all out there, right? That's also to his detriment because sometimes it makes him, vulnerable to injury. But I'm glad he's back in the fold. 3 years, it was a little rich for my blood. But you know what? The extra $1 or $2 per year, I can live with that. Assuming that the Cardinals can take care of business elsewhere to make that money seem smart.
He checks every box. He came in, so he's got a familiarity with the organization. He was cheap last year and he overproduced, so he's getting rewarded now. He's productive. He's young. He's still only 26. He gives you a physical presence offensively you did not have before him. In this Kingsbury offense for the first 2 years, especially in 2020 when this team could not convert a short yardage to save their life. It cost them the playoffs. I'm convinced of that. So they bring this guy in and he produces 18 touchdowns and people want to bang on his yards per carry. His yards per carry is what it is. It's because the Cardinals asked so much of him in short yardage. And I think a lot of us were surprised, at least I was, how gifted of a receiver he was last year. Tremendous in the screen game. Won that game in San Francisco with Colt McCoy, carried this offense for large stretches of the season. And that was with coming into the season, the presumption that he was going to be the backup. I can't wait to see what he can do next year. We're assuming they're going to upgrade, we think at some point, right guard. So you figure the interior offensive line will be better. I think James Conner next year, if he's healthy, knock on wood, that's always the biggest question, 1,000 yards, 12 to 15 touchdowns. He made the Pro Bowl last year. He's somebody that I think we can compare him, and I put this out on Twitter yesterday, when the Saints signed Mark Ingram, when they drafted him, Mark Ingram just got better with age. I think he's got a little bit, I'm not saying he is beast mode from the Seahawks when he left Buffalo to go to Seattle, but I'm getting that same vibe with these power backs that are not built on speed and acceleration, but instead are built on physicality and agility. He fits in that same mold. I think this contract will not look bad, number one, because the cap is going up. And I just think, again, if he can stay healthy, he is always going to give you power. And that's something this offense desperately needs because their quarterback is undersized, Saul.
I agree. Like, listen, he checks every single box. He does. And for what you were talking about earlier about how James Conner, basically the Cardinals on short yardage were as automatic as you could get, especially in the first 12 games of the season. Now, towards the end of the season, things kind of fell apart. Their offensive line kind of fell apart. Rodney Hudson missed games, and things changed to a degree. And Cliff was calling some crazy plays at some crazy times for whatever reason, which kind of threw things kind of out of kilter. But again, I've already said everything I needed to say about James Conner. I love the fact that he's back. He and I share the same barber, so shout out to Renee. It's good work. I love it.
Both men have beautiful hair. James Conner also spoke on Kyler Murray today, which I thought was interesting.
Oh, Kyler's a phenomenal person, man. And everybody knows how talented he is. But it's just, it's early for him in the league. He's gonna be just fine. I know everything's gonna work out. I was talking with him, after I got my deal and even before, and so. K want to be just fine, man. That's our QB. We love him. We embrace him. All that good. And he knows that, So, I know he's back there just working, chopping at the bit to get back, at State Farm and just play his best football. So I'm confident in him.
Love that.
In the chat, somebody said when was the last time the Cardinals had a Pro Bowl running back, and that was David Johnson, 2016. So it hasn't been that long. It's only been 5 or 6 years.
And the Cardinals got a Pro Bowl production last year for $1.75 million. That was the cap hit. This year, his cap hit will be the same. He got a signing bonus, some additional funds pushed back to the latter 2 years, but his cap hit will be minimal again this year. And again, people want to discredit the running back position, undervalue it. This is a guy that's going to be touching it 30 times a game, a touchdown machine, and somebody who is a direct correlation to keeping Kyler Murray healthy and not running Kyler Murray too much in conjunction with the offensive line. I like the move. Austin asking, Keim is really content with rolling with Gardeck, Kennard, Golden as his edge rushers this year. Oof. I'm telling you, Saul, the cornerback thing I can live with, and I talked about it yesterday. This defense thrived with the 3 top corners they had, but it was with the pass rush with Chandler and Marcus and JJ. When you don't have that, you can't be average with a bunch of number 2 and 3 corners. And they don't have a number 1 corner. You better get a number 1 edge rusher.
You will get an edge rusher. I promise you we will get an edge rusher, and we'll get a defensive lineman that can actually make a difference opposite of JJ Watt. We will get those 2 things. I'm almost going to say, I guarantee we'll get one of those 2 things before the draft. And I'm even going to say, you know what, I'll go on a limb and say, we will get one of those 2 things before the week is over.
I have some more news. So earlier I said 9 teams. Nope, I thought the Packers just signed somebody. I was ready to cross off another team that wasn't the Cardinals, but they didn't. Holy shit, is Johnny wearing an MWO shirt? I am. R.I.P. Scott Hall passed away yesterday. The bad guy, Horizon Ramon. R.I.P. This is for him. Hey, Johnny, watch AJ.
You have a toothpick in your mouth.
Horizon Ramon. Teddy asking, is AJ Green coming back on a deal? I sure as hell hope not. I haven't heard anything. He looked absolutely done at the end of last year. We talked about it yesterday, Saul. I think a camp body for somebody signing over the summer when you got a receiver injury. Cardinals need to get younger and faster at receiver.
They need to get a lot more young and faster. They need to get more aggressive. They need some dogs. They need some absolute dogs. It's people that will come in and absolutely just tear some shit up. Like they need that guy, like aggressiveness. That's the one thing about like the Seahawks, right? It seems like no matter what, even if they're 5-12, they still have this like chip and this aggressiveness about them when they play that I've always kind of admired. And I wish the Cardinals would kind of take on some of that identity. So that's what they need.
AJ Green was overtaken really. Antoine Wesley was their most reliable big target, especially in the red zone late in the season. He's coming back. The best thing that AJ Green gave you last year was his size early in the season. Now you have Zach Ertz, huge target. We think Max Williams will be back. You have Antoine Wesley. They're going to get another receiver, Steven, in the set. Go ahead.
Would you take Antonio Brown at the for the Cardinals? J. Dot says in the chat. Hell to the no. Not even a little bit. No. That's a locker room destroyer right there. Like he just is.
Yeah. No, he's the anti-James Conner.
Can you imagine where this Cardinals franchise would be if Larry Fitzgerald retires and one of the guys we get to replace him is Antonio MFN Brown? Like, no, bro. Like
this team needs a healthy D-Hop. They need a second-year acceleration from Rondell Moore, and they need to hit on another receiver, whether that's Chris Olave or somebody like that.
Oh, Chris Olave. He gives me all the feels.
Does. Rafa earlier said, I wouldn't mind Melvin Ingram, Calais, and draft Jermaine Johnson or Devontae Wyatt. That's fine. Melvin Ingram was productive last year, but I think he only had 1 sack. And then to your Calais point, I know our buddy from Bird Game Travel, Tyler, basically is asking, why is everybody infatuated? It's the same thing. It's the nostalgia of bringing back Calais. I know that they have some interest. He's 36. He's older. The defensive line to me is interchangeable. Just get guys who can rotate in and out. I think Calais would be fine. If you're not paying him a lot of money, certainly your deal wouldn't be more than 1 year, which is fine. Who's off the edge? That's my concern. When that gets filled, I'm going to take a hot minute, because you know what? Right now, I know the Cardinals can find a right guard. I know the Cardinals can probably go and get a receiver. I know the Cardinals can get Robert Alford back cheap at corner and sign maybe
Allen
somebody else.
Robinson.
There are only so many gifted, supremely gifted athletes that can play edge rusher and get to the quarterback in the NFL. So when Chandler Jones signs with the Bills or whomever, like watch the Niners or somebody like that steal Chandler Jones. Are you still going to be singing over here? No.
Yes.
He's going to be coming after poor Kyler.
Fucking off tackle to the left. Let's go. All game. Well, James Conner will have 155 yards on the left side all day. Let's go.
That makes me sad. I want to remind everybody, children 5 and older are eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine is the best tool we have to reduce the chances of getting sick with COVID-19. The COVID-19 vaccine can reduce the risk of being hospitalized or dying from the disease. Safe, free, highly effective vaccines are available throughout Arizona. Visit azhealth.gov/findvaccine for a location nearest to you. Well, good hell. I didn't think I was going to have to do it. I'm going to do it. We're going to talk about 7th and 6th round compensatory picks. God damn it. Because we have no other news to discuss as it relates to the Cardinals. So Jacob, if I can see that fancy graphic that we had put together, here are your official, as it stands today on March 15th, Arizona Cardinal draft picks for 2020. Please, for the love of God, trade all of those 6th and 7th rounders for proven veterans, because with all due respect, with the history of this team and how they draft, those dudes either will be cut or they will not make the team. It's the same thing. What do you think? Are you asleep? He's asleep.
Oh my God, that is brutal. That is like, dude. Listen, you can find good value in the 6th and 7th round, and I think in this particular draft, you might be able to find a sleeper, on the offensive or defensive line, because it is that deep. Like my guy from LSU, Farrell, he might slip down to the 6th round because he's considered a kind of a one gap specialist, and that's it. So he might trickle down. But let me tell you something about my guy Farrell. That guy has got a mean streak in him, and he absolutely wants to murder cats opposite him. So, hey, if he drops to you in the 6th round, that's a steal.
Jacob, if we could one more time with those picks. Those first 3 picks,
we need to see more of those.
Need to be starters. Pick 23, 55, and 87. Those need to be contributors almost right away. The rest of those picks, trade them away for veterans. I don't want them. I don't care for them.
Quickly, for people who are listening in the audio, this is 2 6th round picks, number 200 and 215, and then 3 in the 7th round, 242, 256, and 257 are the compensatory picks, or the draft picks that the Cardinals had. 3 of those being compensatory picks.
Yeah.
But no 4th or 5th rounders, which is fine.
Well, because of Zach Ertz and Marco Wilson, which both of those guys are starters, aggressiveness wins. Those picks in the 6th and 7th round will not help the team this year. They just won't. And this team is in win now mode. They need to be aggressive. Trade those. We saw what New England did today, which was just a laughing stock. They traded away not Shaq Barrett. They have a really good starting guard that they traded away to Tampa, to Tom Brady. God, I can't think of his name. For a 5th round pick. That's the kind of shit the Cardinals need to be doing. They need to be taking on Amari Cooper's $20 million, trading it away for a day 3 pick. Hopefully now that these comp picks are secured, we're going to see the Cardinals move off of them. Why are you making that face at me?
Because I just realized Amari Cooper is getting paid the same as Christian Kirk, and I don't like that at all.
That's why. That's the beauty of trades. The beauty of trades, especially right now in this hot garbage free agency period where everybody's getting overpaid because of Trent Baalke, is that the salaries are locked in. You know what they're getting paid, and most of the time it's under market value. Shaq Mason, thank you. You what? All those picks could probably land us. Quentin Nelson, it's a great point. Shaq Mason in the draft kick with those comp picks. The Cardinals need a right guard. Josh Jones is not the answer at right guard. I still think he can play tackle. The Cardinals have how many big holes? Let's count them right now. Right guard. They don't have a right guard. Okay. They don't have a number. People say they don't have a number 1 cornerback. I'll just say they don't have a starting cornerback. They need another starting cornerback. They need an edge rusher. There's number 3. Okay. And I would say they need a number 2 receiver. Are those the big 4, do you think?
I would say defensive tackle.
Okay.
I would say defensive tackle. Defensive tackle and number 2 receiver are kind of neck and neck for me. So I would say 5 major holes.
When are we going to fill those holes, Cardinals? We're 2 days into this and nothing's on the surface. I think you got 56 people here ready to talk about Cardinal football, and this team is just taking all the joy and fun away from these first 2. I want to tamper, damn it, and you're not giving me anything to tamper with. I want to tamper into the transactions, and there's nothing. One of 9 poverty teams that haven't gotten anything going. I got my Scott Hall NWO shirt on for a reason. I thought it was going to be a good day. Put this on. Good vibes. The bad guy.
We're not a poverty team, Johnny. I know we haven't won a Super Bowl, but we're not the fucking Lions.
They've signed some
players. We're not the Jaguars.
They signed DJ Shark.
Oh my God.
Free agency is, I'm being tongue in cheek. Free agency is mostly fool's gold. But when I see James Daniels went to the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's a nice player. I watched him maul the Cardinals defensive line when they went to Chicago this year. He got a 3-year contract, reasonable, $24 million. Why aren't the Cardinals in on that? Why aren't the Cardinals going after Hassan Reddick for just $30 million guaranteed?
For as many guys that are signing free agent deals, there's almost equally as many getting cut by their teams right now. Like, there's still going to be tremendous value if you just are patient and wait for the right person and the right player at the time. Like, at the right time, I mean. Like, you can't rush this, right? Like, this is the one thing about Keim that I feel like one of the things that he is good at is he's very good with his timing. Right? He just somehow, some way, he just knows when to pull the trigger and get it done. Like, yeah. So I trust that that's going to happen. I know everybody's freaking out, but it's all right. It's just day 2. Tomorrow, these are all official. And once they become official, then we can start talking and start panicking about where we're at. But I guarantee you tomorrow, things are going to spike up quite a bit.
Okay. Saul's on the record.
Put that down.
Jalen, why do we got to shop at great value? We deserve some Target. Yes. What are some of those nice Target off brands, Market Fresh or whatever it is? That we need some Market Fresh signings. I don't want great value Walmart signings.
What is
I don't want that. Market Pantry. That's what it's called. That's the off brand at Target. That's like their own brand. Market Pantry. James Daniels, Connor Williams were they were. Rafa, Cardinals should have been in on at least one of those 2 players. Because, listen, we've seen with this team, and I think this is what bothers me the most. They do not play their rookies nearly enough. Now they're pushed back. They've had a top 10 pick and a top 16 pick the last 2 years, and they don't play their rookies. This regime does not, right? Especially on the defensive side. And outside of when you've got Malcolm Butler abruptly retiring and you're forced to play Marco Wilson than they probably would have liked to. We cannot sit here and say that pick number 23 and pick number 55 are going to slide seamlessly into the starting lineup. That's fraudulent to say. So I think the reason that I'm pushing back right now is what you've got in-house is not good enough, obviously, and what you're going to draft with this regime is not going to be an impact immediately. So what's your plan? We want to see your plan transpire. And the top 20 free agents, general consensus on CBS.com, ESPN, have gotten plucked up. So it's clear they're not going to be major players for high-performing free agents this year outside of coming back and signing Chandler Jones. I feel like they're taking a different route this year. I don't like it. But it is the Dennis Gardeck contract I didn't care for. I think they're putting too much stock into their own guys.
I think you're putting tremendously way too much stock into Chandler Jones. I do.
You've been consistent from the start that you didn't think that he's worth being brought back. I have reached the point where I would be nervous if they didn't bring him back and whatever they would trot out at pass rusher. We have not seen a pass rush-less defense without a legitimate sack artist since Chandler Jones arrived here. And they had Reddick for that one season without Jones, and he was great. And they traded for Marcus Golden. I love Marcus Golden. He is not enough. It feels like they're going to draft a guard or trade back in the draft for more picks. That's what I would do. I would take the best interior offensive lineman or defensive lineman, and I would trade down.
Yeah, I think trading down is not a bad idea, unless you got some fluke that drops all the way down to you that you think is tremendous value. But listen, there's still so much time left. I'm not even going to panic. I've said that a million times today. Like, everybody else should just channel your inner Saul and say everything's going to be all right. Like, they're going to find a way. They're going to find a way to make a nice play for somebody that's going to make a difference on the defensive line. They are. I know that they are. I'm not worried in the slightest. And when it happens,
where's my Isabella trade? Where's my Isabella trade, Saul? I need him off the team. Can I have him in my trade now?
What? Say it again?
Where's my Andy Isabella trade?
Oh, yeah.
That was promised to me.
Did you want another 7th rounder? I mean, I don't understand what's going on here.
Did you want a compensatory 7th round pick? He's got to play so many snaps. Ham sandwich. Poor Andy. Get him off the team. Can I just move on? I'm ready to move on from that.
Yeah,
from that. A lot of that.
Let's move on from that.
You know where you should move on? Where you should move on and check it out is gophnx.com. I wrote an article about the first day of free agency, and I was really excited because I'm like, ready to kick it into high gear. You can check out that and more at gophnx.com. Become a member of our family. 50 cents for the first month, $8.99 for the subsequent months. Saul, did you tease today like we might be getting some hats soon for the PHNX merchandise locker?
Oh, yeah, baby. Okay. Jalen Blair in the chat asking, Saul, is that you reporting or speculating? Oh, listen, I am not getting anything sourced. This is all Saul Bookman, baby. Like, this is what I think. This is what I feel. And that's why I'm pushing this to fruition. This is how it's going to go. Also, some sweet, sweet merch coming down the line. We got a couple drops that are coming down pretty soon. We got Diamondbacks drop that's going to happen. We got some hats. We got some lightweight sweatshirts that are going to come down the pike. Like, it's going to be awesome.
Ooh, super chat. Happy birthday, Mrs. Bird Gang Travel. Officer Claire. She isn't pleased I'm listening to this right now. Well, thank you, Bird Gang Travel.
Happy birthday, Claire.
Happy birthday, Claire.
That's Bird Gang Travel's wife, Mr. Tyler, if you don't know.
She will bust your ass.
She is a cop, so she will absolutely beat the fuck out of you.
Everybody be a law-abiding citizen. Bring Honey Badger back. You talk about a bird bridge. He hates Steve Keim. And the Cardinals have 2 elite safeties. That's about the only position that they don't need to seriously look at outside of quarterback.
No, I thought I saw that he was going to sign with the Raiders, but I guess that had fallen apart. So
he's trying, like, he's sniffing around. He wants like $15 million a year. I'm like, Tyron, bro, you're closer to the end than the beginning.
That's the problem with a lot of these guys, is like they think their value is far, far higher than it actually is. Mm-hmm. And that's why they're sitting here. Listen, the money's going to dry up at some point. And if you don't get your money now, you're not going to get it later. Because guess what? This is what my thinking is on Chandler Jones. I'm pretty sure that he has his number and he has his feelings about where he wants to be and all this other good stuff. Cool. Congratulations, Chandler, on writing down your dream sheet. However, that's not reality. And teams don't want to pay you $15 to $20 million a year. You're not TJ Watt. You're not that dude. Like, so you have got to humble yourself and take a 2 or 3 year deal because you're old. You're old. Like, you're not young anymore. Like, so if you take a 1 year prove it deal, you're kind of effing yourself for the future. You just are.
You are. He's 32 years old. I could have gone without this information. Rubbing feet right now. Listen to you, fellas. That is an elite combo. Bye-bye to Chandler. I hope not. I hope they can work something out. I am in the firm camp of, if you can work something out, do it. Why are you making that face? If you can work something out, do it.
It's just such an odd combo. Like, what are we doing here? Okay.
Oh, thank God. Thank God Tyler's in the chat. All right, good stuff.
Live your life there, Tyler. Live your life.
We had speculated on Will Fuller potentially being a match, or you could do a 1 year flyer. It sounds like my man Will, who basically stole money from the Dolphins last year, was active for like 3 games, is waiting for Deshaun Watson to see where he lands and will attempt to reunite with him on a 1 year prove it deal. So it does not sound like the Cardinals will have any interest. If he ends up in Carolina, New Orleans, Cleveland, Will Fuller will soon follow by all accounts, which that makes sense. That makes sense.
I would much, honestly, at this point, with all the edge rusher talk, I would very much rather the Cardinals draft somebody on the edge than bring in one of these guys that are on the tail end of their career who we hope is going to give. The problem with us is that we got Dwight Freeney. That's the problem with us. Dwight Freeney came in and he was phenomenal for that one half
John
season.
Abraham.
And John Abraham. They were phenomenal. Yeah. And then after they left, I think Dwight Freeney was serviceable in the next stop. But the guy you just mentioned, what the fuck?
John Abraham.
John Abraham was basically like, that was kind of it, because remember he wanted more money and then it didn't work out, and then he kind of just disappeared after that. Like,
yeah.
And so now we're sitting here thinking, oh, we just need to get another one of those guys, and they'll come in and they'll have the same kind of production. It happens less frequently than you would think, but the problem is that we've seen it, so we expect it to happen all the time, and that just ain't the case.
No. Teddy says this is like Black Friday. Everyone's going for the sales. Cards go Tupperware aisle 4 deals. That's right. A big, nice, expensive Tupperware that's discounted 90% off on Black Friday. Problem is, you draft an edge rusher, the odds of them making an impact right away isn't likely. Yep, unless you're getting Micah Parsons. And I don't trust Vance Joseph. I'm done. I've seen it. He has a track record. I'm not giving him another rookie linebacker inside or outside. I don't want to do that in September where we're all getting our hopes up and then we're all let down because that rookie is playing like 6 snaps. Shame on you, Vance. You shouldn't get any more rookies. If I'm Steve Keim, give all the rookies to Cliff. Give them all offensive line. Give them to Sean Kugler. Vance, you've got your big thing this year. You better make those 2 inside first-round linebackers kick ass. Those guys better be Pro Bowl ass kickers this year. Because if they're not, guess who didn't get their contract re-upped? Vance Joseph. Cliff, Keim, they got their deals. Billy Davis, he is a problem. Former Cardinal defensive coordinator, now linebacker coach. Xavier Collins and Isaiah Simmons better be on everybody's Pro Bowl ballot in about 7 to 8 months, or we're going to have huge issues. It won't matter who's playing outside linebacker if those guys can't come in and knock some skulls, man. I'm going to be so disappointed if we get to October, November, and we're getting no impact from those guys. Huge.
Fair enough.
Jalen, I like Zadarius Smith is the only other option outside of Chandler that I would be open to. Saul likes Clowney. Clowney's a good run defender. I'm not into Clowney. He can't rush the passer anymore.
I don't like Clowney as the primary.
Okay.
I don't like Clowney. I like him as a serviceable backup because the serviceable backup has got to be better than Joe Walker. Like, Come on, guys. Like, we got to do a little bit better at our backups than what we have brought onto the field. So
Aaron's saying weren't the Cardinals top 5 in sacks when Jones only played 5 games? Yeah, because Reddick came in and had 13 sacks, and that's why they should have re-signed Hassan Reddick or franchise tagged him last year. Reddick's been fantastic since Chandler Jones went down with that bicep injury. This edge free agent, it is weak because good teams don't trade pass rushers. They don't, outside of the Khalil Mack salary dump, that, pass rushers are just as important as every position outside of quarterback. The hierarchy is typically get a quarterback, get somebody to protect your quarterback, and get somebody to get after the quarterback. Tackles, pass rushers, quarterbacks. Good teams don't let elite edge rushers leave. Chandler's old, though. He's 32. To Saul's point, I've never discounted your point that he is a diminishing player, and he's very much a one-trick pony. But what he does is he gets after the quarterback at still a relatively high level. He's not elite anymore, but he's very good. Billy Turner could be an option.
Bye-bye, Chan.
So if I asked you this time tomorrow, they re-signed him, 3-year deal, they gave him a good amount of money, would you be disappointed in the Cardinals?
Hell yeah.
You would?
I wouldn't even blink an eye, Johnny. I wouldn't listen. I don't fly with the wind. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty staunch on what I think is the wrong move. And right now, the wrong move would have been to re-sign Christian Kirk for $1 bajillion like he got.
Yes, that's correct.
And to re-sign Chandler Jones for anything more than maybe $8 million a year. And that ain't happening.
Fuck. Yeah, Chandler Jones, I would think, has a number in mind of over 15 million a year.
Oh, I know he does, but he ain't worth it.
B saying
Not
signed
even a
free agents
little.
with limited injury history can't have another Jordan Phillips contract in the books. And Chandler, outside of that year, he tore his bicep. He's been healthy. I also think, Saul, we've been spoiled a little bit because we've gotten big trades every offseason. We've gotten big acquisitions. And then even after the J.J. Watt move last year, they were so active in bringing in A.J. Green and Matt Prater. They went and brought a bunch of one-year flyer guys in the first couple days. They were active. They brought in Malcolm Butler. That didn't work out. Of course, they brought in James Conner, and Keim almost batted 1,000 last offseason. So, like, yes, this is all hyperbole, tongue in cheek. I give Keim the benefit of the doubt, but I also think, Saul, Keim is not a good drafter. We know this. He's below average as a drafting GM. This is supposed to be where he makes his bread and butter. So the inactivity, as long as it lasts, it's going to concern me because typically when he makes his impact, it's right now. He's not. Where is he? I don't know where he is. Where are you? Where are you, Steve?
Yeah, no, I mean it's true. Like it's just listen. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. The draft. No, it's not his. It's not his wheelhouse. But that's why he's. Listen, maybe his strength is trading picks for possibly some good players. So let's go. Maybe that can happen.
No, it isn't. Below average. That's very kind of you, Johnny. Thank you, Kiro. I aim to please here. Well, we were hopeful. I tried to summon breaking news for this show today, and we still got a tremendous turnout. I thank you all so much, PHNX Cardinal fandom, our family here. Do me one last favor. Be sure to like, subscribe, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. RIP Scott Hall, NWO for life. We got a major announcement. Is that coming tomorrow, Mr. Bookman?
No.
Okay, so we have an announcement.
But it's coming next Monday, actually.
Next Monday. We have a major announcement regarding this show next Monday. All good things. Great things, actually.
Great things.
Love it. Any final thoughts here? Goodness, I love the engagement. I love the chat. I wish we had news. We're going to get news. We will get news, and we will be ready to talk about it when we get it.
I can't wait till we get something drop 15 minutes after we end this show. It's going to be
I'll
awesome.
fucking go live. I'll run back right here, and I will do another live show. Jacob, don't worry. I will self-produce. That will be a hot mess, but we will dig into it. When they sign a rotational defensive lineman that's not going to play hardly at all, I will jump on this podcast and talk about it and analyze every single layer. But until then, for the GM Saul Bookman, I'm Johnny Venerable. We'll be back tomorrow. We've got a special guest from the Draft Network. I believe we're going live tomorrow, 3 p.m., unless we get news before then. Thanks, everybody.